Hello, welcome to Wings to Fly Audio and ASMR, and welcome to an organized tutorial on how to make butterfly wing jewelry. Butterfly wing, cabochon, and basil jewelry. I watched the last video, I didn't watch, I didn't even need to watch it. I was like, that was the most scattered. I'm still going to post it, but I'm going to post it as like scattered instructions for how to create this type of jewelry, and this one's going to be like organized instructions on how to prepare this type of jewelry, because now I've done it. Again, I have not done this in months, at least months. Okay, so what you will need to start, you will need some kind of craft glue. You will need some sort of pressed, dried nature thing that you want to highlight. In this case, it is butterfly wings. It needs to, what you're using needs to be protected in contact paper if you're approaching this the way I do it. We also have a disposable glove here because we're working with glue. I poured some of the glue into this little container, and I have a paintbrush to spread it. The type of paintbrush doesn't really matter. I picked this one from the multi-pack that I got at Walmart because it was small enough that it would fit inside the jewelry settings, but shaped in a way that gave me good control over the direction that the bristles went. You will also need, again, our entomological, I always hesitate that I'm going to say that wrong, our entomological, what are they again? Oh, that's not even what that's saying. Oh yeah, I was trying to read this little box. They're not on the box, it's here. Forceps. Entomological forceps. Some sort of razor blade type knife. This was just a very generic, again, cheap one at the Wally Molly. You probably, oh, well, you might need scissors. Yeah, because it's easier to work with tracing on a single wing than it is on a wing with a bunch of all that going on. In other words, a strip of contact paper on which there are multiple wings. Okay, and I even decided what butterfly wing we're going to do. So I'm going to move some of this stuff for when I need it. The glove is not super necessary. It's just helpful if you have some sensory sensitivity specifically to touching glue, which I kind of do. And so I've got that handy. I have it handy, guys. Okay. And then I've also got a little saucer here with a rag that is presently in a state between wet and between damp. Like, it is wet in that it is fully saturated with water, but it is damp in that there's no dripping going on. It does not drip, you know? Dripping would not be helpful. We will need this later as well. And I have it on a saucer so it doesn't make the little tablecloth that is surrounding everything on this little coffee table wet. So, move all this out of the way now that we've actually given an organized intro to doing this. And now I want to make a pendant, and I even picked the wing for it because if I'm pretty choosy about where I place it up here, I'll be able to get a earring pendant down here. So that's lovely. And then I have the pendant options out again so that we can choose them together. So, well, I say choose them together. I am the one choosing them, but it feels like I'm doing it with you because it feels like you're there. So let's get this positioned over here. Okay, so now we try again. Maybe I can do it in one fell swoop this time. Yeah, I finished with the last video on this and was like, oh my gosh. I'm still gonna upload it because, sure, you know, I mean, this playlist is just about little rambles and doing crafty stuff, and I was rambling doing crafty stuff, so like, why not? But like, as far as an actual tutorial of doing this, if anybody wants to like seriously do this, that was a train wreck. And I say that affably to myself. I didn't do a bad job. I just did a very scattered job because I hadn't done this in a while and I wasn't, oh, that's incredibly frustrating. Nope, it's okay. We'll not mess up using it for a, so it will not mess using up this area. It will not mess up this area to use it for an earring pendant. I'm really trying to catch myself because I noticed that in a fair amount of these, I don't always finish sentences I start, and I don't always finish tangents, which I already knew was going to happen, but I'm trying to avoid it happening as much as possible. When you are peeling off, or when you are, oh, I did end up doing it with all of them on there. Apparently memory failed me, and it's very easy to do that. Whatever. You want to make sure that you still hold on tight to that pendant so it's tight on the contact paper, and kind of pull on the contact paper as you do this, because then, like in that moment where I kind of pulled on it, because I was holding on to this so tightly, it didn't rip the tip of my little piece of wing here, which would have been really sad. Because then it's messed up, and I could at that point use it for earrings or for bracelet, but like I wanted to make a pendant out of it, right? So it's not a huge problem if what you're working with gets messed up, as long as you've got a smaller basil and cabochon that you can use. Like once I get down to earring size, for me, like that's it. I don't have more options. Okay, we're gonna pick which color pendant, slide this to the edge of your workspace. Pick it up with the forceps, because you want to make sure that the two halves of contact paper that are around this butterfly wing stay together. I said some of this in the last video, but I'm repeating it because people who don't watch that, this is a tutorial. The contact paper that is protecting this butterfly wing no longer has a seal around it of contact paper. It is now solely relying on the integrity of the butterfly wing to stay together. And depending on how much you handle this is how much that butterfly wing will end up just separating, and you'll have a film of it on one piece of contact paper, a film of it on the other. You can put those together, line them up and glue them in. It increases the chance of glue seeping in and adulterating the wing color, and it also is just that much more of a complication. So that, ooh, I kind of like that. Okay, so in this, it makes it look quite green. This makes it look less green. This one makes it look almost yellow because there's a little bit of translucence to the butterfly wing. Okay, decisions, gang. Which do I want? I'm like, I need to pick one of these because I picked this in the last video. And so if I don't pick one of these colors, one of them will be sad. And then I'm like, that's because I'm neurospicy. That's not actual reality. I kind of like that one. So, you know what? We're going to go with that one. Because just in this moment, for whatever reason, the brain said, "Ee!" with that color. So now we bring over our little container with a bit of glue. It does not, again, I just used a cheap one from Walmart. I am economical in my hobbies as much as possible. So spread glue around this little pendant like you're painting it. Make certain to get some along the sides, because we definitely want the sides of this pendant to be sticky to help make sure that our wing piece will get thoroughly stuck in there, because sometimes that it doesn't get quite thoroughly stuck in there, and then that's sad. Okay, you don't want a lot of drops showing. You want it fully, you want the glue fully painted on into the pendant, but you don't want like big mounds of glue, because that's just going to squish up anyway. Okay, then we pick up a butterfly wing piece and put it in, and then we get it into the pendant, delicately pressing. Delicately. I cannot remember what movie that is from. You don't have to worry about pressing it too much, because you're going to do a lot of pressing on this in a minute. Now, pick up the cabochon, and now we paint the side of this, or the underside of this. again, don't want a ton of, we don't want it to be like barely on it, but we don't want there to be a bunch of dots on it. And then also paint the sides a bit, because that'll help get it into, and oh yeah, okay, this is fine. Okay, this is okay. This is why we have a rag that is wet, which I completely forgot in the last video. And this is why we have a glove to wear. I use disposable ones because they're really thin and I need to be able to feel very well what I'm doing. But you don't have, you're just touching glue and you're just using these for craft. So you do not, excuse me, indigestion. Excuse me again, also indigestion. They tend to come in 2 for me. Excuse me, indigestion as well. And that came in 3. Huzzah. Now that we've established that, because you're just handling glue and you're just using these for crafts, it is not critical for you to like have these sterilized or anything. You're just in your home. So you can just wash the glue off of these and just take it off, let it dry, and then you can reuse them until they rip. So that is what I do with them. That's how we roll, trying to conserve, prevent waste in this world. So very delicately, I do not love touching glue. Like if that is what I'm intending to do, like, oh, I'm going to touch glue and let it dry on me and then peel it off like a snake skin. Like, sure, that's fun. But like just doing this, it being sticky, one, I don't like how it feels, and 2, it makes life complicated. Because you need to be able to separate. See, it gets sticky. And if that was my hand, it would make this next part even more difficult. So now we're going to press as if everything depends on this little pendant. Why? Because everything about this jewelry piece kind of does depend on pressing really hard. We're trying to make sure that air bubbles don't show up between the cabochon and the butterfly wing piece. And this is another spot where the wet rag comes in. First, we get the glue off. Again, we want to be able to really use this glove, and if it's just crusty full of glue fingertips, that's not going to be incredibly helpful. And then we take this rag and we kind of wipe off some of this little excess sticky that has come up along the sides. You'll see, I think you can see, I'm not quite sure. And then and notice little air bubbles are appearing. Not on our watch. And now with this, it helps us grip it a little bit better than with just fingers or a glove. So you can just grip onto your little rag and just hold it. It gets boring, sure. I did not hold it enough in the video I just made about this, and I went to go get a wet rag, got it wet, came back to wipe off the glue that was on the pendant, and there were already a couple little air bubbles just kind of seeping up from the bottom. So like, you'll think you've held it long enough. I thought I held it long enough. And then just from time to time, kind of double check, okay, we're doing good. Okay, let's do another little wipe off of any glue that's peeping up. You can get rid of any glue that peeps up between the basil and the cabochon once it's all dried, but it gets kind of difficult and also annoying. So just make sure to kind of swipe the rag around here. Completely forgotten about the rag in the last video, so I wasn't doing this, but I did afterwards. Just if you don't want to see if you see a bit of glue that you don't want to see in the finished product, wipe it off at this point. It's so much easier to deal with. This glue is water soluble, but it's still just so much easier to deal with doing this. And just keep pressing, just keep pressing, just keep pressing, pressing, pressing. What do we do? We love to press on the cabochon. Bars. Not really. But anyway, that was fun. So yeah, so now just hang on for dear life to your little pendant. Make sure that you're pressing with all you've got. You can do it, mate. And just kind of keep an eye, like I say, for the glue spilling up. And this is your life now. Until you're just more tired of it than you care about air bubbles showing up in your jewelry. Thank you for watching the organized tutorial. Well, it's still been done by a neurospicy goblin. So there were neurospicy elements and goblinish elements. But meanwhile, as organized a tutorial about this as my little neurospicy goblin self could presently manage. So, loves, I think I have found a new little way I want to end these videos, so I hope you don't mind. Loves, believe in you, and if you struggle to believe in you, believe in the me that believes in you. Bye! Have a good day and take care of yourselves. Bye!